Welcome. Let's start with the tools you need to install your composite decking: a spirit level, a power miter saw, tape measure, an electric or manual screwdriver, a power drill, rubber mallet, dust mask, safety glasses, knee pads, plunge saw, a jigsaw and a long screwdriver bit. First, let's start with your frame. We recommend using 4x2 or 6x2 treated timber or composite joists. The joists should be spaced at 300 mm centers for residential customers and 200 mm for commercial projects, side to side. When installing your frame, ensure posts are concreted 500 mm into the ground to provide a solid frame over the years of use, nogging and blocking to prevent rolling of outer joists. Joist hangers are required to avoid frame movement. When using composite joists, ensure a 10 mm gap is left for expansion where a joist meets at any join. Before installing your composite decking, it is important to remember 3 key points: expansion, water drainage, and good airflow. Composite decking expands in the heat and contracts in the cold. Since every area in the UK has different temperatures, you need to allow up to 48 hours for the composite decking boards to climatize to the weather conditions in your location and carefully take into consideration the expansion and contraction gaps required during installation. Water drainage and good airflow is also important. This is why Ultra Decking recommends a raised deck area with a 2.5% slope and a raised deck of a minimum of 300 mm. If you do choose to complete a ground level deck, it's important to allow a slope and area for the water to drain off easily. Note, please ensure that the drainage between the base is good, otherwise, this would cause long-term rot of the joists and deformation of the decking. Water must drain off your decking area. It is important that water must not be holding on your deck, as this will create issues in the future. Important note: do not forget the gaps. A 25 mm expansion gap should be left between the deck and any walls or fixed objects. 3 mm gap side to side of all deck boards, and a 6 to 8 mm gap on any joint butt, 8 to 10 mm gap left below 10 degree, with a 4 to 6 mm gap left at the end of the boards or meeting a fascia, or angle trim. For decks over 600 mm high, please seek professional advice. We recommend that your decking has a gradual gradient of at least 1 in 40 with a slight angle that runs away from any adjoining buildings and fixed objects. Composite decking boards should be positioned in the direction of the gradient. This helps any water to disperse naturally. Screw your starter clips into position along with each joist, spacing 300 mm for domestic and 200 mm for commercial. And slot your first deck board into the starter clips. Tap and fix into position with your rubber mallet. Please remember, it is important to note that you must not screw or nail through the composite decking, as this will cause cracking or raised screws over the years. If you are using bullnose boards, these must be fitted first upon installation. Make sure that the composite decking boards do not overhang the joists by more than 15 mm. Next, place a slim metal clip into the groove of the first board. Screw it into place. Do not force or push hard into place, and ensure a 3 mm gap is left side to side. You should use 1 clip on every joist. Take the second piece of the deck and place it into the clips. Please note, when using slim metal clips on our Home Choice collection, the screw goes into the countersunk central hole. 1 screw is used on each clip. Now, place a clip into the groove of the second board and screw it to secure it against the first board, but do not over-tighten or force. Now continue this process using 1 clip on 1 screw on every joist. When the boards meet end to end, you must allow for expansion space. Do not allow composite deck boards to meet at the end. Depending on the temperature, you should leave a gap of between 6 mm and 8 mm. Note, below 10 degrees, an 8 to 10 mm gap must be left. You should also ensure that any decking boards, joining end to end, have a double joist underneath, and use a clip to secure each end of the decking boards. When using plastic clips, the process of fitting is very similar. Place a plastic clip into the groove of the first composite decking board and screw it into place. But do not screw all the way. You should use one clip on every joist. Now, place a clip into the groove of the second board and screw it to secure it against the first board, but do not over-tighten or force. Now continue this process using each clip on one screw on every joist. When fitting the last board with a plastic clip, first measure the width of the final two boards to find where the outer edge of the final board will lie. Using these marks, fit starter clips and slot the last board into place. Now, insert the penultimate board and slide down the required number of clips. Screw these clips into place to fit the final board, only when slim metal clips are being used. With the last board in place, after securing all other boards, screw through the groove of the last board at a 45-degree angle to secure it to the joist at 300 mm intervals. Pre-drill pilot holes in the deck boards 2 to 4 mm wider than the width of the screw shank. To avoid the material splitting, do not overdrive screws into the deck boards. Once all your boards are fitted, you can use a plunge saw to cut any overhanging with one single cut. Do not forget that you may have to cut around any fixed objects, manholes, drain pipes or posts with a jigsaw to provide a neat finish, remembering the expansion gaps. It is important to note that composite decking expands and contracts in all directions, and bowing and curving is very normal in composite decking boards. If a board is bowed or curved, please install it at each end first, and moving up the length of the board, in turn, will push the board back into position. It is recommended to check this as you install your composite decking boards. If you leave bowing with your decking boards, over the coming years, this can make the boards pull out of position as they expand. Do not forget to mix and match the boards to allow for a blend of colors and patterns on wood grain finished boards. You should also stage the joists to create a brickwork effect if you so wish. Remember, composite decking is scratch resistant, not scratch proof. Ultra decking recommended that furniture placed on any composite deck is fitted with a rubber or felt feet to prevent unnecessary scrapes. Bullnose boards allow you to create a flush finish without adding a fascia or an angled corner trim. To fit a bullnose board, simply add starter clips into the designated location on the bottom of the board. Then slide the bullnose board into place and push forward to secure it in place with the clip, ready for the next board to be laid. You can adjust the spacing of your starter clips to achieve an overhang or flush finish. To fit ultra decking onto steps, bullnose boards can be used. Add the decking starting from the bottom step, then place your bullnose boards into place. When installing fascia and angled corner trims, please ensure you leave a 6 to 8 mm gap to allow for expansion at the ends. When installing angled trims, these can be glued into place using a commercial grade adhesive, or secured them in place with suitable screws, drilling pilot holes 2 to 4 mm wider than the screw shank at 300 mm intervals, screwing into the timber or composite joists at a 90-degree angle. After installing your new composite decking, do not forget composite decking is low maintenance, and not no maintenance. Regular cleaning with hot soapy water and a soft brush will ensure it is free of debris, dirt and leaves. Doing this once a month throughout the lifespan of the composite decking will ensure your new composite decking is kept in good condition. Depending on weather conditions and due to the sun's UV rays, all composite decking over time will naturally fade with a reduction in color. Like almost all materials, left to nature's elements, your composite decking color will lighten in appearance within the first 6 months, please note. depending on UV exposure. After this period, the color stabilizes to its natural color, losing a minimal amount of color over the composite decking life of service. Therefore, this should be taken into consideration when choosing the color of your new composite decking. For more help and advice upon choosing the right boards for your garden, please visit our website at www.ultradecking.co.uk, or call us for more information.